Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down, low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, 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 go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final. You're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold. Take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final. Runway 9 clear to land.
Okay, all right, let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Oh, we had one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger. Let's see, what we got, a tricycle, put it down, tricycle, put it down, tricycle, put it down. Tail dragger, down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here, you cleared land on 9 all the way to the white dot, go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Canard, just come to the runway and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Canard's going to have to go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. You do not descend. Do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. You can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the downwinds. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. Clear to land on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow on the final, and as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Canard?
Yeah, Canard.
All right, Canard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just maintain VFR. I don't know what else is up there above you. Probably most everybody's down here, so just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get you back here.
Canard's got the jet in tight.
Okay, the RV, maybe an RV-10, whatever, here on final. Keep your speed up and go all the way down to the, aim for the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. Aim for the green dot, and I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around. Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that. After 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. Put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep it.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, three, two, one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Thursday night's live stream. Bloody weather's gorgeous. I managed to go flying for about 20 minutes the other day. The clocks are changing. It's all good. It's all good, and there's lots of good stuff coming up tonight as well. Although I don't think I was quite sure what it was going to be until about an hour ago. But anyway, there you go. So before we go on, we've got the big thank you to say to SkyDemon. Thank you very much, SkyDemon, for supporting this. It wouldn't be possible without you. And if you're one of those people who has yet to try SkyDemon, and frankly, I'm not entirely sure there's going to be many of those people, but if you haven't tried it for a while, head on over, download yourself a copy, and give it a go for 30 days. So here's your SkyDemon top tip. And at some stage, as soon as we finish this mountain of work that we've got on, there'll be another maybe another 2 compilation of 10 tips each coming your way. But we've got some other stuff to do first.
Hi, I'm Tim from SkyDemon. Welcome to today's top tip.
If you have an airfield you fly to quite often, or you're just quite interested in, you can add it as a permanent favourite in the Airfields tab. To do this, press Add Favourite down here, type in the name, select it, and you'll see it always down here under Favourites, even if you've got another route planned far away. The airfield is always there, so you can quickly see its weather, or go into it, see current NOTAMs, or access its plates. To remove it as a favourite, press the pin button, and go unpin from favourites, and we can see it's disappeared again.
For more information on any of our features, go to skydemon.aero and choose Help and Support.
There you go. Pin your favourite.
Easy one. That's good.
Easy one. It is quite an easy one. I'm not sure I've pinned a favourite. I need to get myself a favourite, I think. It's probably Bristol. That's quite good for the weather around here. Okay, so in talking of weather, it's got to be normally traditional that I forget Simon at this time, so I'm not going to forget him today. Let's see if we could just move him up here and then turn him into this and then add the stream. Wow, Simon, there you go. It's a different layout tonight.
It is. But, I feel privileged not to have been forgotten.
Someone's already given us the weather forecast. So basically, it's Scorchio. So you need to try and fill a few minutes with stuff.
In that case, my work here is done. That's it. Listen, thanks to everybody who attended the spring flying weather webinar that we did on Tuesday. It was completely free of charge. Thanks for your donations as well to the DEC Ukraine humanitarian appeal. We're just shy of £300 on that at the moment, so thank you very much for that. If you couldn't make it, there's a recording now available on YouTube, so go to youtube.com/weather school and you can watch it there. It's all about what you need to know is the changeover from winter into springtime flying conditions and what we should be looking out for as pilots with those changes in the weather. So if you've not watched it yet, it's there, it's free. Go and watch it now at the Weather School YouTube channel. Okay then, so as far as the weather is concerned for this weekend, it's looking pretty darn good, as we've just heard. High pressure is centered over the country through Friday, as it has been today. I've just been flying, and what a gorgeous flight that was. Bit hazy, but absolutely beautiful to be flying and watching the sun go down. And I think tomorrow is going to be quite a similar day. So as you can see there, high pressure centered over the UK through tomorrow. 1 or 2 morning mist and fog patches. They'll clear away very quickly. This warm front across northeast Scotland, probably bringing a little bit more cloud towards the far northeast and northwest of Scotland, but actually very, very little. May just be a little bit of fog down the western coast of Scotland, perhaps into the eastern coast of Northern Ireland. You can see that here on the cloud ceiling forecast, those red colours telling us that base is below 500 feet. And I think what that's picking up on really is just a little bit of coastal fog. But for most of us, it looks glorious. Just one word of warning is across the far south. I'm just thinking that the easterly wind might be picking up later in the afternoon. So we could go perhaps to a 12 to 15 knot east to east northeasterly across the far south of England, possibly southern Wales in the afternoon, but confidence on that really low. Saturday, high pressure stays with us. Morning mist and fog patches once again clearing quite quickly, and then very, very little cloud around. Sunny spells all the way. Yes, some high level fair weather cumulus perhaps at about 5,000 or 6,000 feet, but very little of it. You see again here on the cloud ceiling forecast, it's sort of north and northwestern Scotland that we see bases of about 2,000 to 3,000 feet. Perhaps a little bit of sea fog as well, again, down these coasts of Northern Ireland, but for most, it looks pretty darn fair. Across the southern coast of England, across the northern coast of France, isobars close together there. Stronger winds, possibly easterlies 15 to 20 knots, even gusts of 25 knots across the northern coast of France. So if you were thinking of doing a cross-channel bimble, then just do be aware of that. Check out the forecast on Saturday. And then for Sunday, high pressure still there. So morning mist and fog patches once again, particularly across Scotland, northern England, I think, and across parts of northern Wales, northern parts of the Midlands. They clear rapidly, and then we're into another fair day. Pretty breezy in the south again with that easterly. And just notice here on the cloud seeding forecast, look at that area of red just down eastern parts of England, eastern parts of Scotland. That's some sea fog and some strata, some har that's coming in from the North Sea on Sunday afternoon. So just be aware of that if you're flying down those eastern parts of the country. But other than that, it looks like being an absolutely fantastic weekend. Now, Aviation Weather School just announced my next online course, which is going to be held on the Saturday mornings, the consecutive Saturday mornings of the 14th and 21st of May between 09:30 and 12:30 hours. So if you've not been to Aviation Weather School yet, this is your chance to learn how to spot weather windows up to 5 days in advance and build your confidence in knowing that when you look at the forecast in the morning, if you're off on a trip, you know you can trust it to get home. Go to weatherschool.co.uk to book your place now. And don't forget, go to the YouTube channel, Weather School YouTube channel, to go and watch that spring flying weather webinar. Phew, I think that's just about it. Right, more flying for me tomorrow. If you're flying, I hope you have a great one. And I'll see you soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Simon.
Looks like a great weekend ahead.
You what, sorry?
I said it looks like a great weekend ahead.
It does, doesn't it? Even for where you are, Dave, and it's normally raining where you are. Right, time for some news. Dave, you're on first.
Okay, first of all is about the new issue of Flyer. If you haven't seen it yet, the cover story and quite a bit of the content inside is about the exciting new world of 600 kilogram microlights, what the BMA calls the light sport microlight category. It's almost upon us, and Ian flies one of the first to be approved, the Sport Star. Plus, there's a review of what other 600 kilogram microlights we may or may not be seeing in the UK. And we asked the BMAA 20 questions about the new light sport microlight category. What's more, they answered them. Somewhat different is the flying adventure. Kai Barnett won last year's Pooley's Dawn to Dusk challenge with his flight in a gyrocopter. Kai's theme was to overfly as many sites of the wartime chain radar network, which were used to detect enemy aircraft. Gyrocopters apparently were used to calibrate the radar systems, hence the link. And there's much, much more in the issue. And I don't want to take up all of the live stream telling you about it.
Okay, well, in that case, it's probably also worth saying that that is the very last PDF page turner magazine in that format. As of imminently, and I mean fairly imminently, there'll be the all new format, the all new website, and as you can see, Edwina there. I don't know if she's sitting in the same place on everyone's screen, but on my screen she's kind of like bottom right. Edwina has spent the last 6 weeks, I think. Probably basically transferring existing copy from some back issues up and populating the new site. And we'll be populating the new site with more issues as we go, and plus lots of fresh content daily, all sorts of stuff like that. So you'll be able to get that on the new site pretty soon now. There'll be a bedding in period of 4 weeks. During those 4 weeks, there's a special offer. If you're not a club member, you can join for just £30 a year. After those 4 weeks, it'll be £52 a year. So £52 a year sounds quite a lot, but it's £1 a week for everything we produce, all of the content, everything. Otherwise, 4 weeks after that, the little paywall is going to slowly come down. But so sign up now, save yourself 22 quid and get a bargain. So there you go. But thank you very much, Edwina, for all that stuff and for all of the stuff you've still got to do pretty quickly. But there you go. So next story, I think, is from me. See if you can guess what this story is about. Okay, there's a game like that on TV, isn't it? Say what you see, isn't it? Say what you see. I see a faceless person in authority. I don't know about you. Who could that be? Could it be the CA? It might be. So basically, the CA had this thing before where you had to verify your documents. So in order to send in your ID document, you had to get like a color photocopy, or maybe a black and white would have done, and that had to be signed basically by someone who was a doctor and also a priest and had 14 ATPL passes. If they had all of those, they could sign it and say it was definitely you. If they didn't have those, they couldn't, and you were done. But now the CA have moved. You can get, if you hold your passport, driving license, whatever, close, and you take a selfie and you don't look too different and it's nice and sharp, the CA will accept that as verification of your documentation. So how good is that? Well done, CA. Yeah. And I hope you didn't pay too much for that illustration. There you go, mate. That must mean that, Edwina, it's your story next.
Okay, electronic conspicuity. Okay, the CAI are discounting the price of it by 50%. I don't know what the current price is, but when I bought mine over a year ago, they were £500. I bought it for £500. I sent my receipt off to the CAA and they put £250 in my bank account, which was lovely. And what I will say is, if anyone doesn't want it, as I didn't when it first came out, still get it. Get it, shove it in your bottom drawer, and then when you want it, you've saved yourself £250 and you won't regret it. And all the people I know who've used it love it. And I've used 2 different types and I love them both. So there you go. Just get on with it.
It's a very good thing. Once you've tried, it's a little bit like crack cocaine. Not that I would know what crack cocaine is. It's very addictive, electronic conspicuity, and once it's a and then when you fly without it, it's a bit it's a bit strange. But so go get one, get some free money from the government. I mean, not often you can say that.
And
not at the moment, anyway.
Website address to go to, just there.
ca.co.uk/EC. There you go.
We'll pop it in the comments as well.
We'll put that in the comments, which brings us on to Sky Rangers, Johnny.
Yeah, so 2 pilots are planning a 7,500-mile flight for charity. They've abandoned plans to go through Ukraine and Russia, obviously, and this is a 25-country flight. So this is Graham Naismith, pictured here, from Tunbridge Wells, and Luke Christopheres, who we'll be speaking to in about 10 minutes' time. They're going to set off next month in their Sky Ranger Ninja. The project is called 35 to 70, which we'll find out in the interview. There's no point me telling you now. But it's going to be a really interesting flight for them, using another 600-kilo certified airplane. So it's going to be an interesting journey for them, flying around most of Europe. And they're raising money whilst they're doing it. So we'll find out more in the interview in about 10 minutes' time. So stay tuned.
Talking of 35 to 70, did anyone see, by any chance, it's like a random comment here, Joanna Lumley doing a report on Paris recently on TV?
No.
She was talking about this thing. I'd never heard of it before, but she was talking to this woman in Paris, and she said, oh yes, there's a thing in Paris called a 5 à 7, or in France called a 5 à 7. So a 5 to 7. And she was saying, well, what is it? And she basically, a 5 à 7 is someone who's decided to take a lover on their way home from work. So they're 5 to 7. So I don't know about 35 to 70, what that's all about. We'll have to find out. But there you go. Dave.
So which job would you like to do, Ian? Because we kind of skipped over the top one.
What have we skipped over?
We skipped over the drone superhighway.
Yeah, go back.
Oh,
Go back.
Okay. Right. So the drone superhighway. This is a plan to develop superhighways the length of the UK to fly drones. But, and this is an important bit, not by using temporary danger areas, but by integrating with all other traffic. Altitude Angel is the company heading a consortium behind the idea. And they've come up with a traffic management system that they reckon can handle it all. The CA and the rest of us just need to agree. So basically, their traffic management system has detect and avoid systems built into drones. It works its way around airfields, active airfields, and active airspace. the drone operator calls up to ask for clearance, just the way you would on an ordinary aeroplane. And if you watch the video that's part of the news story on the website, it sounds like it's actually quite a good thing, which is certainly a bit better than having temporary danger areas, up and down the length of the country.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? And we've got to figure out how we're going to live with drones on the assumption that we get drones. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when VLJs were talked about and everyone was worried about the skies turning dark with aluminium overcast, everyone flying around in the little VLJs all the time, which clearly didn't happen. And huge amounts of money going into drones, eVTOL, UAS, whatever.
Yeah.
But so we'll see. Okay, a little quick emergency reorder due to my earlier incompetence in that case. I'm going to talk very briefly about last night's webinar from Astral Aviation, people who took over from Gasco. They had a workshop reporting, basically on reporting. It's all about trying to bust the myths. Actually, it was pretty good. Actually, you've kind of got mandatory occurrence reports, voluntary occurrence reports, air proxies, chirps. Certainly air proxies and chirps, we're getting a big push because they're quite easy to file via the apps. MORs, it was kind of pointed out how actually a lot of things that we might not think about need an MOR, should get an MOR. There was a little bit of a kind of elephant in the room that wasn't too covered in a great deal of depth, which is, MOR, the whole idea about reporting is to help your fellow pilots. None of us have got time or enough lives to make all of the mistakes. So we want to kind of, every time we make a mistake, we want to share it with everyone so we don't, we can all avoid each other's mistakes, as it were. However, it would be true to say there's a whole bunch of people go, well, you think I'm going to write an MOR on myself because I bust a bit of airspace and see what the CAA do about that. And I think the CAA have got a whole bunch of work to do on trust and communicating just culture and stuff like that properly, which I don't think they've particularly excelled at the moment, CAA. So if you get your act together, I'm sure people will report some more. So there you go. There's a challenge for you. Every 25 years ago, the whole infringement process goes through a bit where it kind of like, oh, we're going to get really mean, we're going to get really nasty, and then they kind of, that just screws the whole relationship for years and years to come. Even if they do change, the kind of perception takes ages to work its way out the system, and I think that's what the CA's managed to do, really. So well done on that. There you go. Dave, was that enough of a little gap?
Right, yeah. So the next story is about Plymouth Airport. Fly Plymouth, the consortium that wants to reopen the airport. They've been negotiating behind the scenes to try and acquire the airport and reopen it. They said recently this week that things are moving ahead. They've been working behind the scenes, but now they're coming out in the open. They want to operate the latest ATR 42-600s from there. These aircraft can fly with 40 to 50 passengers, and they don't need a long runway because Plymouth's runway is not particularly huge. They also say they want to include a vibrant GA scene, including light aircraft. This picture is from when Plymouth Airport was actually open, and look by the look of it, was quite active with GA and military. There's no timescale been announced so far, but I happen to know that the leader of the city council, because I live in Plymouth, the leader of the city council is very keen on the airport reopening. They've been talking about things like how the railway is okay, but only just. I mean, remember, the railway down here in the southwest runs past that bit of the coast near Dawlish in Devon, coming up to Exeter. It's been washed away several times in the past. It's been re-engineered and it looks pretty strong, but it's the only way in and out of this part of the southwest. There are roads, but of course we're all being encouraged not to use the roads. And there is no motorway actually connecting Plymouth. It's just dual carriageway. So the airport is actually got quite a bit of momentum behind the reopening campaign.
Good. So it's a bit like those mansions in Malibu that get burnt every 10 years to the ground, isn't it, along the coast? And like Plymouth gets its railway washed away.
That's it, yes. I wonder where you were going with that for a second.
I think we might have covered this last week, just in case we did or we didn't. Johnny's got a quick bit about Yeovilton.
Yeah, so obviously following lots and lots of planning, the Royal Navy International Air Day has been cancelled. It was due to take place on, I think, the second Saturday in July, obviously at Yeovilton, which I think coincides with the big Slapecosh weekend, so you can go there instead. But yeah, they've cited commercial reasons for cancelling, but I'm sure the Navy have got lots of stuff on at the moment that they need to be concentrating on, not throwing airplanes around in front of the public. So, yes.
No.
Yes.
Plus, they probably didn't want to go head to head with Slakecosh.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, who would?
The Royal Navy versus Bruce and his mates.
Edwina, you've got some news of any? Sorry.
There's also a bit of activity going on elsewhere, which they may be getting prepared about.
Yeah. Is that what, Plymouth?
Yes, of course.
Edwina, you got news of an event that is going ahead?
Jonathan Smith has just made a comment about that. Yes. Now, somewhere in the pilot sphere, it was announced that there was going to be a GA day at Duxford. I don't know where that story originated from, but it seems to have vaporized. The website, the IWM website, doesn't have any information on it. The information phone number just says goodbye, look at the website. Not in that order. And I actually rang up the control tower and they went, huh? So, and my other Bible is David Wise's events calendar on the Royal Aeronautical Society, Royal Aero Club page. He's a bit of a god when it comes to listing events. And he's got it struck off as cancelled. So does anyone know anything?
I do. Well, okay. I say I do. I sent quite a few emails, and they all bounced back. The emails bounced back saying, "Thank you for getting in touch. The 2020 event has been cancelled due to COVID. Please look at our website, which goes to the 2020 event that's cancelled due to COVID." However, they do reply to that and go, "No, here's the exhibitor pack. It is going ahead. We got some IT problems." So it's a really bizarre situation in as much as someone does actually reply to you from that email address, and they do say we got some IT problems, but it has to be the kind of worst promoted. We're probably not going to get invited along now, but it's got to be the worst promoted event. It's got an out-of-date website. It's got an out-of-date email autoresponder. They're pretty slow at getting back to you, and all in all, it's not hugely impressive. But I have been assured by several people there that it's definitely going ahead.
Jonathan's put a message up there.
Yeah. Were they talking about it positively, or were they talking about it in a way that they had no idea? Or
they were probably asking each other if they knew.
I mean, I left a message on Duxford Airfield manager's answer machine probably at the beginning of the week, but he hasn't got back to me.
Yeah, I've sent him a message as well. But that wasn't an hour ago. Yeah, the chap in the tower said if they find out anything, they'll come back to me. So I'll let the world know.
When is it due to happen? On April the 23rd?
Yeah.
Is that a Saturday or a Friday?
Saturday.
Yes. Well, who knows? We've been told that it's definitely going ahead. It's definitely going ahead. Except they have no ability to tell anybody that's going ahead with any form of consistency. So, Duxford, if you'd like a quote on running your marketing, let us know. This is what happens when Ed's not here. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we think it's going ahead. So anyway, okay. Me next. I've got a picture for this. Stand by. Is this the right picture? There you go. Anyone know where that is? It's not difficult.
No.
No. Loads of people in the comments will recognise where that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Gloucester. It's Gloucester, Stourton, whatever you want to call it. They've just sent out a thing. You know, they're repairing their runways. Where they've discovered there's a bit of a drain problem. So next week, from Wednesday, March the 30th at 09:30 local until Sunday, April the 3rd at 19:30 local, all runways are closed, no access, airfield's closed, they've all gone home. Actually, that's not quite true because you can still get some helicopter action going on, but no fixed wing action at all from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week at Gloucester. So there you go. So that's a bit of a bugger, isn't it? Really. But, there you go. Johnny, where's Mac?
Oh yeah. Where's Mac? He is in Palermo in Italy. He arrived there, I think, either today or yesterday. Today, yeah. So he's on. This is his third arrival. He's doing a bit of dancing around Europe at the moment. Then he's off to Algeria next. In the Shark.
Oh, Tunisia.
Sorry,
Tunisia, isn't it?
Tunisia, then Algeria. Yeah, and then he should be making his way through Africa throughout April. He's got some good places, really. Mauritius, Seychelles. Oman, UAE. So he's got some nice sunny destinations to stop at.
So I went to the airport that he's going to in Tunisia called Tozeur, Tozeur. I flew there a bunch of years ago. There were a couple of parked up 747s, all kind of like, this is before everyone else was parking 747s, and kind of like whatever you do to 747s when you're not going to use them for a while, wrap them in cling film and stuff like that. And I was sitting on an airplane years after that with a chap who used to work in the aviation industry, who was also a very, very ardent spotter. And he was like, his thing was collecting the whole fleet. And I mentioned, oh yeah, I saw a couple of things. And he went, oh my God, he was so excited that someone had seen these things in Tunisia and so jealous. Now, clearly I didn't really care that much about it. But there you go. But anyway, and finally, Dave.
Yes, I've been given the DART story to talk about. This is Latvian airline Air Baltic has announced that it plans to launch a new NFT token. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. The collection is going to be called Planies. It consists of 10,000 unique cartoon aircraft designs. They say it will be a Planie will be a collectible NFT with a unique cartoon of an aircraft with different traits, such as mouth, eyes, wings, and engines.
Like a real airplane.
I'm not making this up. It's not April the 1st. And they've been issued that picture as well. They'll be issued on a dedicated website. And after the initial minting, it will be possible to collect or trade them on what's called the OpenSea marketplace.
Says something about today's world, doesn't it? It's cheaper than flying.
I'm going to have to put my hand up here and say, I know what NFT stands for, and I kind of know in theory what they are, but I don't really get them. I don't really understand them. Hayden Thompson, that's a very good question. Why? Yeah.
Well, kids used to swap playing cards, didn't they?
Sorry?
Kids used to swap playing cards with footballers on and things like that. You know, you could say why. It's the same.
They were actually cards.
Electronically.
They were actually cards. This is just a bunch of electrons.
Yeah, it saves money on paper, doesn't it? Fantastic.
There's a great comedy video on YouTube explaining NFTs. If you got time, that's quite good fun. I think that is probably the end of the news. It must be time to bring in Luke. So I'm going to bring in Luke. Hi, Luke. I'm going to move you to somewhere.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Luke.
Hi.
Cracking. Right, Luke, thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm going to check out to see what NFT actually stands for, because I have to admit I don't know myself.
Non-fungible token.
Yeah, non-fungible token, whatever that actually means.
If you need some, I could sell them to you.
All right.
Yeah, flyer NFT. Yeah.
We'll discuss the price later.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for joining us. So, you and Graham Naismith are taking part in this flight. Can you just tell us what it is, first of all? It's called the 35 to 70, isn't it? Can you tell us what that means?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we wanted to get away because of COVID and the lack of flying. We wanted to go abroad, basically. And so we came up with this plan to go to Russia, to go to Moscow, but also go through Ukraine. The plane is actually originally from Ukraine, the Sky Ranger. And in fact, our propellers from Kiev. So I hope everything's going okay over there. Otherwise, we won't be able to get the propellers anymore. So when we found out fairly recently that we couldn't go to Moscow or Ukraine, we changed the plan and we decided to call it 3570. The reason being, we'd like to get down to 35 degrees of latitude north and then 70.
Good stuff. So where would 35 take you to?
So that's Crete.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking through my notes here. So the plan is to go to Sitia in Crete, and then to get up to Laxelv. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, at the top of Norway. And en route, we're planning to go through 23 countries.
Fantastic. So where did the idea come from for doing this? You know, the whole thing really, other than just wanting to get out of the country and travel. Was there any other kind of motivation?
Well, me and Graham did a flight last summer down to the Scilly Isles, to St. Mary's. I don't know if you've been down there before. Yeah. We left the Scilly Isles. We had a really, really good day. We got up to North Wales from the Scilly Isles in one go. And we're crossing the Bristol Channel. And I said, you know what? I've always wanted to fly to South Africa. And he said, well, why don't we do it? Anyway, that plan didn't really materialize because of the issues really with range on our machines. So we came up with an alternative plan to go to as many countries in Europe, and a lot of them I've not been to before.
Yeah, so I can flash up the route here. There we go. It might be a bit small for people to read, but I think, England, France, Switzerland, and onwards. Why did you pick the Sky Ranger?
Well, I'm a microlight pilot, and I'm not qualified to fly anything that isn't a microlight, so that does narrow down the options immediately. I prefer to do it in a twin, really, but we just don't have access to one, so we're doing it in a Sky Ranger. But to be fair, the economy is really, really good. It's very light, they're very maneuverable, and yeah, well, why not?
Yeah, and what sort of endurance can you expect from the Ninja?
Well, the Rotax 912 burns about 10 to 12 litres an hour. It's at quite a high RPM, 4,000 RPM, which is a cruise RPM. We're expecting to get 80 miles an hour out of that indicated, probably a little bit more on the true. So we're planning to do roughly 80 sectors, 2 hours each. So I expect we'll be burning about 25 litres of fuel per sector, with a total of about 160 hours flown over 35 days.
Right. And are you going quite point to point, or are you actually taking in sites and following coastlines and that sort of thing?
You pretty much point to point, but we may go a bit further into Turkey. So one of the issues that I've been having planning the trip is to get the permission from the individual countries. Because we're operating on a permit to fly, and I've got an NPPL. I do have a Class 2 medical, which helps a bit, so it's not a self-deck, but we do need the permission from each individual country. And so far, I've actually had permission from all of them apart from Turkey. So we're still waiting on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think
which was the easiest to get permission from, and which was the hardest so far, apart from Turkey?
Yeah.
So bizarrely, you'd think Switzerland would be one of the hardest. It was the first one that we got permission from. Yeah, and so far the hardest would have to be Turkey. Yeah. Yeah. Has anyone been to Turkey? Yeah. So,
Ian,
have you flown to Turkey before?
No.
Yeah, I haven't heard of many people who've done it GA wise, and certainly when you apply, the forms they give you are very much commercial forms that they want you to insure for lost luggage and delays and things like that. So immediately we weren't able to fill in the forms, and it's just been going on for quite a while now. Yeah. So I don't know if we'll get to Turkey, but we'll be able to certainly get to Crete. So that's the main thing.
Yeah. What other challenges are you kind of expecting along the way once you're actually flying?
So a big thing for us is we're only VFR, so we're going to have to be cautious with weather, particularly around mountains. So I think with good weather we can finish the route, but the weather could be a big stopper really. Yeah. So the plan is to adjust it as we go along really. If we need to change the route, we'll change it and then just fly as far as we can. Yeah.
Where's your starting point?
Kitty Hawk Airfields, which is right next to Deanland in East Sussex.
Yeah. So given that, so are you going south first or north first?
We're going to go south first. Yeah, I think we're going to go to Lyd because I believe that you have to clear customs and leave the country now. So we'll probably go to Lyd and then to the 2K. Is that incorrect?
Yeah, you have to give notice now, but you don't
Oh,
have to go.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. In that case, we'll go straight over Lyd and then to the 2K.
Yeah.
And then
Have a look on Flyer's YouTube channel. Dave White, who's in the audience tonight, I spotted earlier, did a great presentation on the kind of customs paperwork and stuff like that, and the inbound and outbound stuff.
Oh, that's really helpful. Just make a note of that. Actually, can you give that to me again?
Dave White is in Flyer's YouTube channel. I can't
Yeah,
remember
I'll send you the link across afterwards, and hopefully afterwards you can maybe, as somebody said in the comments, Jonathan Smith, you can maybe give some tips for microlight pilots in terms of getting around Europe once you're back and you've got the experience of how it's all been going.
Yes, absolutely. We'd love to share what I've learned. Yeah, that'd be great.
Are you planning to use? Sorry, Carol, Edwina.
Presumably, you're going to create a blog so we can follow you around. Yeah.
Yeah, so we already have a website, and on the website there's a blog, so we'll update it as we go along. Yeah, my pipe dream is to have Polaroids because I just think they look nice, but it might get a bit too heavy. Yeah.
You
can't really post them easily to the blog, can you?
Yeah.
No, but I suppose you take a picture of the Polaroids. There's quite a nice effect there. But yeah, we'll probably use a GoPro, and there'll be lots of photos. And do you know Mikey McCahon? He's a flying blogger guy, and I think he's going to help us out with getting them out there. So.
Oh, brilliant! Are you ADSB? Can we track you basically? Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, we'll be carrying Sky Echo, running it through the SkyDemon. Yeah.
And are you planning to use microlight airfields or GA airfields? When I say, sorry, get in trouble for that, but
oh no, that's okay. I prefer to use GA airfields because of the facilities. You really need to be able to spend the night at anywhere you stop. So it's better to be someone that has facilities and fuel and taxis and bits like that. Yeah, but to be honest, it could change because I remember diverted to Rennes International coming back from Spain a few years back, and I never intended to go there. So yeah,
you know the thing about Norway where you buy kind of like a pass for a week.
Yeah,
and that does all your landing fees in Norway for that week.
Yeah. Oh, right. I didn't know that. We've got the permission from them, and that they didn't charge us for the permits. But yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So that's really helpful.
Instead of paying a landing fee at every airfield, you just buy this week's pass.
Right.
You can buy it for multiple days, but buy a week's pass, and it just gets you free landings. Included in that are all the landings at any airfield in Norway, apart from Oslo.
Oh, okay, well that's really handy. In Sweden, it's free for microlights to land anywhere. Presumably not at the international airports, but you can land anywhere for free, which is nice.
Wow, cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
It might be the same in Norway, so make sure you check that before you buy the week's pass.
Yeah.
Sounds like a ski resort here, and you just get a pass and can go anywhere. It sounds good.
Yeah.
So you're offsetting your carbon, aren't you? I think. How are you going about doing that?
We are, yeah. So the airfield that I work at as an instructor offsets all of their carbon. I'm just looking through my notes to find the company that does it. Graham will be shouting at the screen, telling me what it is. There's a company, they work out what your footprint is based on the hours you fly, and I think it's about 60p an hour, so it really is negligible. And as well as that, we're raising money for a Ukraine crisis appeal and young minds. Yeah, we've got about 6k for that so far, which isn't bad.
That's really good. That's really good. So, remind me, when are you leaving?
The planned departure date is the 20th of April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have a planned return date, or are you just keeping it pretty flexible?
Well, Graham needs to go back to work, and to be fair, I do as well. So we're hoping it'll be 5 weeks. But also, Graham's daughter is, his son is playing a big football match, so he might have to nip back, and potentially stay in a hotel or bimble around on my own, maybe.
What's the eco log?
So say again.
What's the eco log?
What's the eco
log? Graham's just posted up eco log.
Oh yeah, ecology. That's it. Yeah, it's ecology. Yeah.
There we go. So that's different to the one that I think we've covered before in the Fly News, which is the General Aviation Carbon Offsetting Scheme.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the one we can look at.
Yeah, and it's so cheap.
I'm sorry. So basically, channel you can't use Sky Echo and to compress the comments. There's some people go, no, you definitely can't. And it might be changing thanks to the intervention of ICAO. So I think there's probably some positive news coming. Whether it'll come in time for your trip or not, I don't know.
Yes.
What's the worst that can happen if you switch it on when you're not authorised to?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, following last night's Astral presentation, you should probably MOR yourself regularly.
I don't know, but I mean, is there some authority that comes along and arrests you, or has anyone tried it? All right. Well, there you go. You can be the guinea pig.
I'm sure there are probably hundreds of people who've done it inadvertently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some charities involved, aren't there, Luke?
Sorry, say again.
There are some charities involved in your flight. You're going to be raising.
I mentioned that. So initially raising money for young minds, and then when everything changed a bit after the Ukraine crisis, we also added Ukraine Crisis Appeal as one of the charities, and so far we've raised about an equal amount between them, about 50-50. Yeah. None of the money is going towards funding the actual trip. It's all going to charity.
Brilliant.
The links to those charities are in the news story that's on the Flyer website. So if anybody fancies giving to the charities, it's there.
Yeah, I've got the link to the news story. Actually, I'll post that in the comments now for people so they can get it and have a look. So you mentioned that you're an instructor. So where are you based?
So I'm based at Deanland Airfield. I work for Flight Support Aviation, which is where I actually met Graham. So yeah, thanks to them really for allowing us to meet.
Yeah.
Really good, by the way. So, to say that.
So are you flying the Sky Ranger for the day job, or do you fly a different microlight?
The majority of my flying is in a C-42, but I've also got hours in lots of different microlights, really. Yeah, but pretty much always a C-42, but they're so expensive. The Sky Ranger is slightly cheaper, so we went for that one.
Yeah, and
so if you got the.
So say it.
So the Sky, that's you're flying the one with the 912, yeah.
What we are, yeah. So it's the Sky Ranger Ninja is the one we're taking. That's it. There's Graham. That's just after he bought the plane.
That's a good registration to get. Well done.
It certainly is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So looking at like the world of 600 kilogram and everything else that it could bring, have you got like a microlight that you'd love to fly one day?
Well, we're all looking at the Shark, aren't we, for its speed and endurance? Like it was Zola, wasn't it? It flew around the world in it. So I would love to have a go in one of those. A friend of mine has been in it, and that would be great. Actually, I'd love to have a go. I also really like the look of the new Eurostar, the composite one at 600 kilos. I saw one with its wings off, and it looks great. I'd really like one of those. Yeah.
I think I prefer one with the wings on.
Yeah, I can't afford the wings. So.
apologies to everyone else. A few people posting that the video's stuttering. I don't really know why the video's stuttering. It's all looking good at this end, and no one's uttering, including Luke. So apart from turning it off and back on again, I'm not entirely sure what I can do. And I'm not going to turn it off and back on again because there's no real way of doing that. Apologies for that. But
strange. Yeah. Well, Luke, thanks for coming on. And right, what's Dave saying? Individual states have to accept. Oh,
sorry. There you go. There you go.
That's all right.
So yeah, basically, I think Dave's saying everything works really slowly in aviation, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Right, Luke, thanks for joining us, and all the best for the flying. And we'll keep a track of you and try and see if we can see you on the Sky Echo on flight radar.
That's great. Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Brilliant. All the best. Right.
Cheers.
Fancy hangar time.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
There you go. Dave, you're going to have to lead this one.
Am I? Right. Okay. So if a full fantasy hangar tonight, it's just sprung this on me, you know. For fantasy hangar tonight, we looked at the possibility of Plymouth reopening, and we decided to ask ourselves, what airport would we like to reopen if we could? So we've all made our various choices. You may have a choice as well that you can put into the comments. Who's actually going to kick off first? Am I kicking off first as well?
No, I think
Johnny.
It's me. It's me. So I've gone quite close to home, or close to Ian's home actually. I've gone for Cologne, which arguably isn't fully shut, but still it's not exactly open, and it's certainly not open to GA. I think that would make a cracking airfield to absorb into the general aviation world. It's got really good facilities in terms of runways and everything, but it's perched on top of a hill right next to Bath. It's in a gorgeous location. I think it could be a really strong contender for a good regional airport. It might even be better for, dare I say it, airliners, and because who enjoys driving, who enjoys schlepping out to Bristol Airport?
Nobody.
You could go from Cologne to all over the place. So I think it's got a really rich history as well from the Second World War. I think it was built in 1939 and it was used up until about mid-70s, I think. And then the army took it over. And then it started becoming, I think the Air Cadets were doing their experience flights from there in tutors, I think. But in the past couple of years, it's kind of almost been mothballed. I think the tower's still technically manned, or at least it was until a year or so ago, even though there wasn't much, if any, flying going on. But it's got 3 good-looking runways and loads of buildings, which could make it a really good airfield for the GA infrastructure.
Yeah, great general aviation airfield for sure. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm up next, and the airfield I'd most like to see brought back to life and opened is Gloucester. No, sorry, that was a mistake. It's Meeksfield. Everyone loves Meeksfield. 1948 it opened. And funnily enough, it's not funny at all. It closed on March the 30th, 2003. March the 30th. That's the day that Gloucester's closing down for 4 or 5 days. Hopefully, only that long. And that was, I don't know if you remember, but back in 2003, Mayor Daley, who was the mayor of Chicago at the time, kind of like did this sneaky midnight raid and basically dug trenches to make the shape of X on the runway. And that was a complete and utter knob, and it was illegal. And it was really, really frustrating. I've been there since, and it's turned into a park. It's not a bad park as far as parks go. Just be better as an airfield. I think lakeside airfields, particularly next to sort of places like Chicago, are just amazing. But unfortunately, it's turned into a park instead. The tower's still there. There's a whole load of geese flying around. Worth a walk there to reminisce. But I'd love to see Meeks open again. That's my choice. Dave.
Right. Okay. My choice. There's a whole load of history behind my choice. And I'll just quickly run through the history because it's fascinating. But that's not the real reason I want to reopen it. I'll get to that later. The airport I'm thinking of is Croydon Airport. It opened in 1920 in the first place, though there was a flying site there from 1915. It was Britain's main international airport at that time. It had the world's first terminal. It had the world's first ATC. Such luminaries as Amy Johnson took off from Croydon in 1930 for her record-breaking flight to Australia. Charles Lindbergh visited in the Spirit of St. Louis in 1927. It was a fighter airfield during World War II. And unfortunately, it was closed in 1959 when Heathrow became the main London airport. So that's the history, and all those reasons are pretty good reasons for reopening again. But the reason I wanted to reopen is because my mum lives in Croydon and I live in Plymouth, and that's a 5-hour road journey, especially in HMS Discovery, my current car. It's forever. So if it reopened and Plymouth reopened, I just nip into something, and in the Lascaux, of course, and
it's going to be a 5-hour flight in Alaska, hasn't it?
A bit more pleasant though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, Carol.
Okay, I am
Edwina,
going for
sorry, Edwina.
Edwina, yes. I'm going for Hatfield Aerodrome, and this is actually a practical suggestion. So if you look at that bit, you've got on the left-hand side, you've got St Albans. On the right, you've got Hatfield, and you've got this green bit in the middle. It's now called Ellenbrook Fields, but that was the old Hatfield Aerodrome there. And you can see it's green to the north of it, green south of it. The runway would be about 0220. So you're not flying out there. The magenta line's the original runway. I used to live at the end of that. And the green one's the proposed one, which is about 1,200 meters. There's loads of room. I've been down there. It's a great piece of land. Or it needs a bit of rolling, but it's not in bad condition. And if you only had half of that, because the southern half of that is, when I last looked, had longhorn cattle in it, but the north half, you've got 600 meters there. And it's just beautiful. It's a 10-minute drive from the M25. There's a railway station you can walk to, which is just 30 minutes to King's Cross from there. You've got all the history. You had the tiger moth there, the chipmunk, the first comet jet, the comet racer, the mosquito, and the hornets. You've got all the history as well. But on top of all that, it's right next to the Hatfield University, or University of Hertfordshire, isn't it? Isn't it? And that has actually got aeronautical studies there. So they used to be connected to Pan's Hangar. And they had this lovely connection between the students and flying. They could connect with aviation. That got ripped out under their feet. So they could get involved. You could get all the STEM involved there. You've got loads of room for hangarage. It's near to London. You know, it's just a beautiful place. It's just far enough out of Luton's way that it's not a nuisance, and it can pick up all the trade that Pan's Hangar feed over.
Surely good.
Good suggestion.
Now, before we go on to the decision, everyone knows that this is this part of the show that Ed always wins. I'm wishing to keep his winning streak going. Ed supplied this little video of his entry.
Hello. A bit like Simon does sometimes, I can't be with you tonight, so I thought I'd record my choice of fancy hangar. So obviously airfields that are no longer with us. Well, this one kind of is still with us. It's pretty big, so it's hard to get rid of. And so my airfield that I'd like to bring back would be Filton Airfield, really close to my heart. I spent a lot of time flying model aeroplanes there. My dad worked for Rolls-Royce and so was in the area for 47 years of his working career. And it was just a place that that was really, really dear to my heart. I flew in and out quite a bit as well when I got my PPL. Did a bunch of young eagles flying there and was really sad when it closed. It was an enormous site, obviously extended so that Bristol Aeroplane Company could fly the Brabazon from it. You wouldn't even need to keep all of it for an airfield. You could still use just a portion of it. It would be a fantastic general aviation facility for Bristol. Even if you brought some of it back now, you could have a hangar, you could have there's space for a grass strip, there's a hard runway. I think the control tower's still there. There's a lovely aviation museum there. So I just think it's a real shame. And that would be the one that I would bring back to life. I guess if I had my true fancy choice, I'd bring it back to life when it was around in the 1940s, when it was just a huge grass circle, and that would be even better. Anyway, that's my choice. I'm not sure whether it's an Ed wins for tonight. Only time will tell. Anyway, good to see you all, and I'll see you again next week.
So just put this one. So Dave White. Ed wins. Marcus.
I think winner of most suggestion.
Jonathan suggested that I actually went to dinner with the MP in the Hatfield area, and I actually did to discuss the very point about reopening Hatfield. And of course, you know, his name's Grant Shapps. He was very, very positive, because Grant always is. So nothing happened. There's more to that story.
Do you ever find that MPs are it doesn't really matter which flavour they're of, will often tell people things that they want to hear? Steve Newjamin must have listed every closed airfield in the world so far. Well done, Steve.
He wins suggestions. I've counted about 11 from him.
New Callan's going for, look at this. Paul Vader's back. Thank you very much. I don't think we need to go any further, do we?
Dusty B got a good one. Chivner.
Right,
not by Bustable, where there is no other airfield.
Did you see what that cheeky guy, Keir Williams, said?
There you go. That's quite interesting. Yeah, good idea. That would be good. There's another one for Edwina. There you go.
Aren't they? Actually, the best answer on there was, you know, all of them. I reopen all of them.
Well, we'd all reopen. This is a game. This is fantasy airfield. Unfortunately, Clearby as my first glider flight from Westmoreland. Another one for you, Edwin. Oh, Steve Newjam coming in with a strong Greenham comment. Hadn't thought about that one.
Yeah.
Who was it who put somebody? I think it might have been Paul Kiddell. Was it Paul or someone else said that Sywell makes Sywell open again? Well, it is open, but it's quite tough to get in there, isn't it? And Nick Orchard, brilliant. Oh, Sarah, all of these places that could open so easily as well. Fantastic. Like Culture was interesting. Wasn't there a little? Didn't the Europa people Swift have a little strip at Coltishall that you could get in and out of? But I don't know if anyone could do it or if it was just them.
They did. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I don't. Darren Lewington.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
What can you say?
There is a good choice in there, which I wish I'd thought about. Old Serum.
Yeah.
It's open for parachute planes, but nobody else.
There you go. Well, I think that whole airfield thing has generated quite a lot of stuff, isn't it? And yeah, Nick's right. Nick Orchard's right. It is all a bit sad, isn't it? But yeah.
And Henlow.
Sorry, that weedy plain bloke. I got you wrong. You're not Paul Kiddell. You're that weedy plain bloke. Whoever that is.
Sorry. God, dear.
I was going to ask whether you were there at the opening. Right. I think we should. I think on balance, we'll probably award that one to Edwina.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There you go. Right, Dave, we got any events coming up?
The other event I can for this weekend is an open day at Compton Abbas, but it is an open day rather than a flying. They want people. They're trying to interest people in learning to fly there. The following weekend, though, there's Vintage Saturday at Compton Abbas on the 2nd, and also at Bodmin they have a flying on the 2nd, and then we're really looking into April when things really start to pick up.
Talking of events, before I hand over to Johnny to tell you all why you should join the club, we'll have more details on this next week. But the private flyer show that will take place at Leeds East and Wickham Air Park, you may or may not know there's a landing fee when you fly in, and there's if you pitch up by car or bicycle or bus or whatever. You have to buy a ticket to get in. Well, club members will get an exclusive 20% off of the ticket price at the door and 50% off of the landing fee. And we'll be emailing out those codes to club members early next week. So if you want to save yourself some money and be part of an amazing club and get all the rest of it, then join up and save yourself some money on the club thing as well. Anyway, over to you, Johnny. More on that next week.
Yeah, so we'll be announcing within, I think we can say probably within a number of days, a new look for Flyer with a new kind of structure, which includes club membership. And if you buy club membership now, it will not be any cheaper. It will be going up. It will be going up to £52 after a good month or so of the new site being open to everybody to look at and get their head around. So if you want to lock in that price of £30 for a whole year, which is a bargain, you get content, you'll get landing fees, you'll get all the member benefits, discounts, webinars, etc. Get it locked in for £30. Just head to fly.co.uk, click the club tab at the top of the screen and go through the steps there and get your membership sorted.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I do believe that could well be the end. We are almost good. We are going to finish bang on time, 8:30. Thank you very much for everyone for coming along. Thank you for taking part. It's been a pleasure. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday if you're a club member, next Thursday if you're not a club member, and look out in the next few days for the new super site. So we're really looking forward to that too, if we survive the amount of work that needs to be done between now and the time we launch it, that is. So thank you very much again, and have a great evening. Have a great flight. Particularly over the weekend with this great weather. Let me just hang on a second and get my super slick ending in. There you go. Thank you all.